I hereby call the City Council meeting for Monday, April 24th, 7 p.m. to order. Please stand and join me in saluting our flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Councilors and for everyone at home, Council President Nicastro is still recovering from surgery, so I would just like to send her our best wishes for a speedy recovery. So I will be presiding over the meeting this evening. Mr. Clerk.
Item number 1, acceptance of the minutes of the April 10th, 2023 City Council meeting.
Accepted and placed on file.
Item 2, we have the appointment of Matthew Stanton of Brockton, Mass. To the Beautification Committee as a member for a one-year term ending April 2024.
Referred to Finance.
We have a hearing. We have the petition of Brockton Area Multi-Services, Inc. of 10 Christie Drive, Brockton, Mass. for a garage license transfer located at 71-75 Oak Hill Way, Brockton, Mass. In City Clerk's office, January 31, 2023. Hearing assigned for April 24th, 2023. Fire Department has no objections on the garage license transfer. All paperwork is on file.
Time having arrived, I declare this hearing open. Is there anyone here in favor? If so, please come forward.
Madam President, members of the City Council, thank you very much. Attorney Jim Burke. I have offices at 48 North Pearl Street in Brockton, and I have a representative of BAMSI here. BAMSI purchased this property roughly about 3 or 4 months ago. The purpose of the acquisition is their technicians will park their vans inside, and they will then move from there to the individual sites throughout the Commonwealth in which they will provide service to their facilities. One of the critical things for the vans is it assists in keeping the catalytic converters from getting stolen based on the inside garage. So they respectfully request your permission to allow the transfer of the existing license over to BAMSI.
Thank you, Attorney Burke. Is there anyone else here in favor? If so, please come forward and state your name to the clerk. Good evening.
Good evening. My name is Walter Kernow. I'm the Vice President of Facilities for BAMSI, and I'm in favor of this transfer.
Thank you. Can you just state your address as well, please?
71 Oak Hill Way, Brockton, Mass.
Thank you very much. Is there anyone else here in favor? Please come forward and state your name to the clerk. If not, I declare that portion of the hearing closed. Is there anyone here in opposition? If so, please come forward and state your name to the clerk. Seeing none, I declare that portion of the hearing closed. Before we go to move to the councilors, if you have any questions, I would like to read a statement from Councilor Nicastro regarding this item. BAMSI purchased the property several months ago and provided a copy of its recorded deed with application materials. By law, they are entitled to a garage license. As such, I, Councilor Nicastro, support the transfer of this garage license to BAMSI. Thank you. So, councilors, do you have any questions?
Just,
Councilor Thompson.
Yeah, thank you, Madam President. Just wondering if all documents are on file as required by our ordinance.
Yes, all documents are on file with us. And this is a transfer which, outside of any specific reason, they have the right to the transfer, so.
Understood. Thank you, Mr. Clerk. That's all, Madam President. Thank you.
Councilor, any other councilors? Seeing none. Question comes on transferring the license by hand vote. All those in favor? All those opposed? The license is transferred.
Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you.
Thank you. Item number 4, communications. From the mayor, in accordance with the revised ordinances of the City of Brockton, Chapter 2, Section 2-186, notifying the City Council of his appointment of Kayla Venkowskis to the position of Assistant City Solicitor full-time for a 3-year term, effective April 10, 2023.
Accepted and placed on file.
We have a communication from the mayor appointing Matthew Stanton of Brockton, Mass. to the Beautification Committee as a member for a 1-year term ending April 2024.
Accepted and placed on file.
We have a communication from the City of Brockton Planning and Economic Development Director notifying the City Council that the City of Brockton was recently awarded $16,470 in technical assistance from Mass Housing Partnership to prepare a baseline assessment and compliance overview for the new MBTA communities, Mass General Law 40A-3A requirements. Mass Housing Partnership has hired and will pay the consultant directly. No funds will pass through the City of Brockton.
Accepted and placed on file.
We have a communication from the mayor recommending the same.
Accepted and placed on file.
Communication from the CFO relative to the same.
Accepted and placed on file.
We have a communication for the City of Brockton Planning and Economic Development Director notifying the City Council that the City of Brockton was recently awarded approximately $125,000 in technical assistance from Mass Broadband Institute to prepare a digital equity plan. Mass Broadband Institute has hired and will pay the consultant directly. No funds will pass through the City of Brockton.
Accepted and placed on file.
Communication from the mayor recommending the same.
Accepted and placed on file.
Communication from the CFO relative to the same.
Accepted and placed on file.
We have a communication from the City of Brockton Planning and Economic Development Director notifying the City Council that the City of Brockton was recently awarded approximately $150,000 in technical assistance from Mass Housing Partnership for planning work in the Campello Station area. Mass Housing Partnership has hired and will pay the consultant directly. No funds will pass through the City of Brockton.
Accepted and placed on file.
Communication from the mayor recommending the same.
Accepted and placed on file.
Communication from the CFO relative to the same.
Accepted and placed on file.
We have a communication from the Superintendent of Buildings requesting the reauthorization of the Vacant and Abandoned Buildings Revolving Fund for the sole purpose of maintaining the abandoned building registry, limited to annual expenditures of not more than $250,000 during fiscal year 2024 for the registration of vacant and abandoned buildings.
Accepted and placed on file.
Communication from the mayor recommending the same.
Accepted and placed on file.
Communication from the CFO relative to the same.
Accepted and placed on file.
We have a communication from the DPW Commissioner requesting reauthorization of the roadway design and construction revolving fund for fiscal year 2024. The roadway design and construction revolving fund shall receive receipts of payments of fines and fees, provided that no more than $1 million may be so expended during the fiscal year.
Accepted and placed on file.
Communication from the mayor recommending the same.
Accepted and placed on file.
Communication from the CFO relative to the same.
Accepted and placed on file.
We have a communication from the Superintendent of Buildings requesting reauthorization of the demolition revolving fund for fiscal year '24. The demolition revolving fund is for the demolition charges and fees and is limited to annual expenditures of not more than $110,000 during the fiscal year for demolition costs of buildings in the City of Brockton.
Accepted and placed on file.
Communication from the mayor recommending the same.
Accepted and placed on file.
Communication from the CFO relative to the same.
Accepted and placed on file.
We have a communication from the mayor in accordance with the provisions and stipulations of Section 53E and a half of Chapter 44 of the Mass General Laws, recommending the reauthorization of the Comcast revolving fund for fiscal year 2024 from all cash receipts from Comcast franchise fees in excess of $675,000 pursuant to the cable license contract, and that further, that the expenditures from this fund shall not exceed $750,000 without further appropriation during fiscal year 2024. Said expenditures to be limited to the cable-related activities during fiscal year 2024, including disbursement of funding to the Brockton Community Cable Corporation, and that further, the mayor shall comply with reporting requirements for revolving funds of Mass General Law, Chapter 44, Section 53 and a half, and with the reporting requirements from the contract with Comcast.
Accepted and placed on file.
Communication from the CFO relative to the same.
Accepted and placed on file.
Communication from the fire chief requesting a transfer of $300,000 from educational incentive to regular overtime account to maintain all companies through the remainder of fiscal year 2023.
Accepted and placed on file.
Communication from the mayor recommending the same.
Accepted and placed on file.
Communication from the CFO relative to the same.
Accepted and placed on file.
We have a communication from the superintendent of parks requesting the city council to accept a donation request from Mr. Arthur Byers to plant a tree at DW Field Park as a Mother's Day gift for his wife. All costs associated for this planting would be incurred by Mr. Byers.
Accepted and placed on file.
Communication from the mayor recommending the same.
Accepted and placed on file.
Item number 31, ordinances. Ordinance, be it ordained by the City Council of the City of Brockton, Appendix C zoning, Article 3, general regulation and permitted modifications is hereby amended as follows. Section 27-9, standards for residential zones, Table 1. Building height maximum, R1A, R1B, R1C, 2.5 stories or 35 feet. R2, 3 stories or 45 feet. R3 and R4, 6 stories. Section 27-10, standards for commercial zones, Table 2. Building height maximum, C1 through C6, 6 stories. Section 27-11, standards for industrial zones, Table 3. Building height maximum, I1, I2, and I3, 6 stories. Be it further amended that subsection 2 of Section 2-8, application of regulations is hereby amended to provide as follows. For R3 and R4, commercial and industrial zones only, no building shall be erected, reconstructed, or structurally altered to exceed in height the limit hereinafter designated for the district in which such building is located, except by special permit.
This is referred to Ordinance Committee.
Item 32, ordinance, be it ordained by the City Council of the City of Brockton, Appendix C, zoning, Article 3, Section 27-20, accessory structures, hereby amended by inserting the following new subsection as follows. Fences shall not exceed 6 feet on the rear and sides of the lot and shall not exceed 4 feet on the front of the lot. Corner lots shall be subject to the conditions stated in subsection 4 above. Any side yard fences that extend from the front property line are limited to 4 feet in height for the first 10 feet of the fence, beginning at the front property line. After this 10-foot distance, the fence may return to the maximum height as noted above.
Referred to Ordinance Committee.
Item 33, ordinance, be it ordained by the City Council of the City of Brockton, Appendix C, zoning, Article 3, general regulation and permitted modifications is hereby amended as follows. Home occupation as a right. One home occupation may be allowed on any premises as a right, provided that the home occupation has, 1, is conducted solely within a dwelling and solely by the persons occupying the dwelling as a primary residence. 2, is clear, incidental, and secondary to the use of the premises for residential purposes. 3, the business itself is conducted indoors wholly within the confines of the residential dwelling or an accessory structure. Item number 4, excludes the sale of retail on premises. Number 5, does not utilize exterior storage of material or equipment. 6, does not produce offensive noise, vibration, smoke, dust, odors, heat, lighting, electrical interference, radioactive emission, or environmental pollution. 7, does not exhibit any exterior identification of its presence or any variation from residential appearance. 8, does not produce traffic generated by such home occupation in greater volume than would be normally expected in the immediate neighborhood. 9, parking is limited to no more than 2 commercial motor vehicles, which shall not be parked on the street. And 10 is, is registered with the city clerk. The term commercial vehicle as used in this ordinance shall mean a passenger car, a sport utility vehicle or passenger van, or a pickup truck or cargo van with markings on the vehicle. Prohibited vehicles include any vehicle which has a vehicle weight or curb weight of more than 6,000 pounds as per the manufacturer's description of said vehicle, and any vehicle which has 5 or more wheels on the ground, except for a pickup truck that is registered to an individual and is used exclusively for personal use. Home occupation by special permit. A home occupation may be allowed by special permit issued by the Board of Appeals, provided that at 1, there are no employees other than full-time residents of the premises, aside from a family daycare licensed by the Commonwealth of Mass to provide family daycare as defined in Mass General Laws, Chapter 28A. 2, does not exhibit any exterior indication of its presence or any variation from residential appearance except for a sign or nameplate. 3, a special permit for such use is granted by the Board of Appeals, subject to conditions, including but not limited to restriction of hours of operation, maximum floor area, off-street parking, and maximum number of daily customer vehicle trips. Such special permit shall expire upon transfer of the property, and the new owner shall require a new special permit. Be it further amended that home occupation, as defined in Article 2, Section 27-61, is hereby stricken.
Referred to the Ordinance Committee.
Item 34, ordinance. Be it ordained by the City Council of the City of Brockton, Article 3, General Regulations and Permitted Modifications of the city's zoning ordinances, is hereby amended by inserting the following section where appropriate. Portable storage containers. Section 1, definitions. Portable storage container means a portable, weather-resistant receptacle designed and used for the storage or shipment of personal property, building materials, or merchandise. The term shall not include yard waste containers nor construction debris containers. Portable storage containers shall not include storage trailers registered with the Registry of Motor Vehicles. Section 2, restrictions. No portable storage container shall be stored or parked on a premise without a permit from the building department. The permitting and use shall be subject to the following requirements and restrictions. 1, residential zones. The permit shall not allow for more than 3 storage containers or bulk transportation devices on the premises. The permit shall be for an initial period of 90 days. The permit may only be extended one time for an additional period not to exceed 90 days. Placement of storage containers on the premises must comply with all accessory setback requirements for the subject residential zone. No portable storage container shall have a length greater than 20 feet or a width greater than 9 feet or a height greater than 9 feet. Number 2, commercial and industrial zones. The permit shall not allow for more than 5 storage containers on the premises. B, a separate permit may allow for the number of storage containers on the premises to exceed 5. However, site plan approval is required prior to the issuance of the permit. C, the permit shall be for an initial period of 1 year. The permit may be renewed each subsequent year. D, the storage containers shall not be connected. There shall be a minimum of 10 feet between each unit. E, the storage containers shall not be located upon designated parking spots. F, placement of storage containers on the premises must comply with all accessory setback requirements for the subject zone. The issuance and extension of any permit shall be within the discretion of the building department. The building department shall affix fees for the initial permit and permit extension and shall assign a per-unit fee for commercial and industrial zones. There shall be a penalty of $50 for any violation of this ordinance. Each day shall constitute a separate offense.
Refer to Ordinance Committee.
Number 35, ordinance. Be it ordained by the City Council of the City of Brockton, Article 3, General Regulations and Permitted Modifications of the City's zoning ordinances, is hereby amended as follows. Subsection 27-5, exterior stairways above the ground floor. A special permit shall be required for any exterior stairway above the ground floor. Exterior stairways for deck access for single-family dwellings are excluded from the special permit requirement.
Refer to Ordinance Committee.
Item number 36, ordinance. Be it ordained by the City Council of the City of Brockton. Article 5, special uses of the city's zoning ordinances. Section 27-38, standards, is hereby amended as follows. Subsection 27-38J shall be deleted in its entirety.
Refer to Ordinance Committee.
Orders. Ordered in accordance with the general laws of Massachusetts, Chapter 44, recommending that the City Council authorize the acceptance of the grant award in the amount of $16,470 from the Mass Housing Partnerships MGL 40A 3A MBTA Communities Technical Assistance Program. Mass Housing Partnership shall hire and pay the consultant directly. No funds will be passed through the City of Brockton.
Refer to Finance.
38, ordered in accordance with the general laws of Massachusetts, Chapter 44, recommending that the City Council authorize the acceptance of the grant award in the amount of $125,000 from the Mass Broadband Institute's Technical Assistance Program. Mass Broadband Institute shall hire and pay the consultant directly. No funds will be passed through the City of Brockton.
Refer to Finance.
Item 39, ordered in accordance with the general laws of Massachusetts, Chapter 44, recommending that the City Council authorize the acceptance of the grant award in the amount of $150,000 from the Mass Housing Partnership's Technical Assistance Program. Mass Housing Partnership shall hire and pay the consultant directly. No funds will be passed through the City of Brockton.
Refer to Finance.
Number 40, ordered that the City Council reauthorize the Vacant and Abandoned Buildings Revolving Fund for the purpose of maintaining the abandoned building registry, as well as the closing, boarding up, and care of vacant and abandoned buildings. The Vacant and Abandoned Buildings Revolving Fund shall receive the receipts of payments of fines and fees for the registration of vacant and abandoned buildings. Expenditures from the Vacant and Abandoned Buildings Revolving Fund shall be made on the authority and direction of the building superintendent. provided that no more than $250,000 may be so expended without further appropriation from the Vacant and Abandoned Buildings Revolving Fund during fiscal year '24. The building the building superintendent shall comply with the reporting requirements of Mass General Law, Chapter 44, Section 53E and a half.
Refer to Finance.
Number 41, ordered that the City Council reauthorize the roadway design and construction revolving fund for the fiscal year 2024 for the sole purposes of funding the creation and maintenance of the roadway design and construction revolving fund. The fund shall receive the receipts of payments of fines and fees for the engineering, design, construction, and paving of projects. Expenditures from the road design and construction revolving fund shall be made on the authority and direction of the Brockton Department of Public Works Commissioner, provided that no more than $1 million may be so expended from the roadway design and construction revolving fund during fiscal year 2024. The Brockton Department of Public Works Commissioner shall comply with the reporting requirements of Mass General Law, Chapter 44, Section 53E and a half.
Refer to Finance.
Ordered that the City Council reauthorize the demolition revolving fund for the fiscal year 2024 for the sole purpose of helping to fund costs in connection with demolition of buildings in the City of Brockton. The demolition revolving fund shall receive the receipt of payments of all demolition charges of the City of Brockton. Expenditures from the demolition revolving fund shall be made at the direction of the building superintendent with the written approval of the mayor, provided that no more than $110,000 may be so expended from the demolition revolving fund during fiscal year 2024. The building superintendent shall comply with the reporting requirement of Mass General Law, Chapter 44, Section 53E and a half.
Refer to Finance.
Ordered that the City Council reauthorize the Comcast revolving fund for fiscal year 2020-24 from all cash receipts from the Comcast franchise fees in excess of $675,000 pursuant to the cable license contract. Excuse me. And that further, that the expenditure from this fund shall not exceed $750,000 without further appropriation during fiscal year 2024.
Refer to Finance.
Ordered that the following named sum be and the same is hereby transferred as the same was submitted by the mayor as follows. Transfer of $300,000 from Fire Department Personal Services other than overtime to Fire Department Personal Services overtime.
Refer to Finance.
Ordered that in accordance with Mass General Law, Chapter 44, Section 53A, the city hereby accepts as a gift from Mr. Arthur Byers and submitted by the city to the City Council by Mayor Robert F. Sullivan, subject under the said statute for approval by the City of Brockton, City Council of Brockton as follows. The donation of a tree to be planted in D.W. Field Park as a Mother's Day gift for his wife. All costs associated for this planting will be incurred by Mr. Byers.
Refer to Finance. Councilors, that concludes our agenda, but Councilor Rodriguez.
I'd like to make a motion that we accept the late file
Second.
A motion's been made.
in the
and
possession of the clerk.
properly seconded to accept a late file. All those in favor? All those opposed? The motion carries.
Resolved, be it resolved by the Brockton City Council to invite Tim Carpenter, Superintendent of Parks and Cemeteries, and Eric Duquette, General Foreman of Cemeteries for the City of Brockton, and area funeral directors to come before the council to provide an update on the cemetery's rules and regulations and discuss the rules affecting their businesses as they operate in the City of Brockton, with an attached list of invitees.
Refer to Finance. Any other late files? Council's recognition, I believe that's it for late files. Councilor D'Agostino.
Thank you. I just wanted to remind everybody that this Wednesday, on the 26th, there will be a community meeting regarding the Campello Neighborhood Plan. This will be held from 6 to 7:30 p.m. at the South Middle School cafeteria. This is one of the first of a few community workshops. We want to engage everybody in getting feedback on the development and the future of the Campello neighborhood. So again, if you are able to join us, April 26th, this coming Wednesday, South Middle from 6 to 7:30 p.m. Thank you. And also, just a reminder for both the public and the members of the Accounts Committee, the Accounts Review Committee next meeting will be May 10th, 6 p.m. in the GAR room. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor. Any other councilors? Councilor Thompson.
Thank you, Madam President. This is a communication to the residents in the Bates Road, Ames Road, Russell Road, and Guile Road area, and some of the adjoining streets. This Wednesday, April 26th, there's going to be a neighborhood watch meeting from 6 o'clock p.m. That meeting's going to be held at 111 Guile Road. I would ask anybody interested in attending this neighborhood watch in that neighborhood to please come to this event. A lot of good information is going to be put forth at the neighborhood watch, and we will have Officer Salamone there speaking about some incidences in the neighborhood, and I'll be there myself to provide additional information regarding the neighborhood. So please, all in that neighborhood are welcome to join us, and I hope to see you there. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you, Councilor. Councilor Rodriguez.
Thank you, Madam President. Looks like Wednesday is going to be a busy day.
I was just going to say that.
I want to remind members of the Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Committee that we have our meeting at 6 o'clock on Wednesday here in the chambers. But before I do that, I just want to clarify some points, I guess, with some of the folks that sometimes are watching us at home, and basically saying, well, you guys have certain committees that rarely meet. The way things work in the council is that an item has to come before the council and then get referred to a committee. So a committee does not have, other than a couple committees that we're working with, does not have the authority to schedule meetings on their own. So an item has to come to the city council for it to be referred to a committee, like the diversity committee that actually didn't meet last year because there were no items that were referred to it. This year we're meeting because there was actually an item that was referred to it. But just as a point of clarification so people understand that it's not by choosing that we're choosing not to meet, but if we can't meet if we don't have an item to discuss. So that's actually going to take place this Wednesday at 6 p.m. here in the chambers. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Councilor. Any other councilors' recognition?
You got?
Well, I have one to announce. Wednesday is going to be a very busy evening. We have an ordinance committee meeting scheduled for Wednesday, April 26th, 6:30 p.m. right here in council chambers. And seeing there's no further business before us this evening, we are adjourned.